What's up everybody? My name is nerosybertyger, and I'm sitting alone in my house recording a video for the very first time. I'm winging it a little bit, and I'm a little nervous. They're doing renovations in my house, so the walls are really thin, so they probably hear me talking to myself. But I'm just doing a little vlogging series. I'm sorry, the mic is not that good. I'm using my iPhone 5, or iPhone 6 actually, and the mic is not that good, but hopefully I'll see and do something about it in post. But today, basically, I wanted to do a video about something that I've been thinking about lately and that's been bothering me in light of a lot of recent events in the furry fandom. It's kind of a dark subject, I'd say, so not a very light subject, something that's not easy to talk about. It's just a video about young furries and their impact on the furry fandom and being in the furry fandom, and really I just want to shine some light on something and stuff that is not more commonly talked about. And we all know that young furs in the furry fandom are the ones that are the future. They're the ones that are going to be making all of our new fursuits, going to be the ones that are going to become the next More for Less or Made for You, and they're going to be the ones that are going to make your badge for MFF. Like, they're everywhere, they're always going to be there, and they're always going to be the next big thing in the fandom. How do you think anyone got here is just from doing stuff? But when all is said and done, there is a much bigger picture that seems to be glossed over to an almost disturbing degree, and that is really the amount of abuse that happens between young furs, minors, and adults. I'm by no means trying to say that adults cannot interact with kids. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that it does happen, like, a lot, and it's very upsetting for me. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not searching YouTube hard enough. Maybe I'm not looking for the right keywords. But the amount of it happening inside any fandom, not just furry, is quite disturbing, actually. So really all this video is dedicated to protecting young furries, and even you there, watching the video. It's even for you, the adult, that is also probably going to be watching this, and how young furs and adults can protect themselves and each other. That's really the whole goal. I'm not trying to say that adults are all freaks, they're all pedophiles, they're all predators. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that it happens, and there's ways to prevent it and ways for minors to protect themselves, and that's really the most important thing, honestly. So right off the bat, I just want to say to the young furries that are watching, adults are not your friend. Like, and I mean this by not saying never ever talk to adults. Like, you see those commercials or your parents are telling you don't ever enter their car. Like, obviously don't do that, but there's a lot of subliminal things, which I'll get into later, that, why you shouldn't talk to adults, or rather, of course, talk to adults. Your parents are adults, and a lot of your family members, but I'll get on it later. This is me saying that you should never try to engage with an adult in a personal relationship of any kind, like close friendships, and definitely not, romantic. The reason of that is really just you don't know who has an ill intention and who doesn't. Most people, I'd say, have really good intentions, but there are going to be people who are just really evil and really awful, and you really sometimes can't take chances with that. Like, they're a fully grown adult, and you're just a young kid that's still developing, and a lot of the times you don't know better and you don't understand things. And you know that when you talk to adults, their word is just the most important thing ever, and they can get you with that. And again, I'll talk more about that later, but adults do have a lot of good advice. Your parents are almost going to always be right when it comes to creepy people and all that stuff. Oh, but Nero, aren't you an adult? Are you saying you're dangerous? I am an adult, and as an adult, like everyone else, I have the ability to be quote-unquote dangerous. But it's how I act and how I decide to present myself at the end is what makes me dangerous and what makes me not dangerous, if that makes sense. And as an adult, it's my own and also your responsibility to protect minors from dangerous predators. Sadly, the furry fandom is not lacking in the predator department. Ugh, it's so hot in my house. It's almost March, and I live in Canada. I live in the Arctic, and it's freaking hot as hell in here. So, young furries, this one's for you, and a very important advice, and you might have honestly heard this before. If an adult of any kind, furry or not, says to you, "Oh, you're so mature for your age," you run! You run as far away as you can. Do not look back, do not engage with this person. I cannot stress it enough. This is a grooming technique used by pedophiles and predators. For anyone who doesn't know what grooming is a technique used to condition someone. So basically, they train them to have a specific behavior and to react a certain way and to become very attached. And it's most commonly used against children. The only real adults that you should be dealing with and having a close relationship with is your family. I know not everyone has a very functional family, not everyone gets along with their family, and it is true that sometimes CSA can happen within families, but just know who your true family is, and keep them close, and make sure that you know that you can talk to them whenever you need to, and talk about if anything's been making you uncomfortable. That is definitely the most important thing. And this part's for the adults. Specifically is for the adults. Adults don't let kids be your friends. Now, you might argue that it's almost unavoidable that kids want to be your friend because you're an adult and you're cool, and when you're a kid, you just think adults are the coolest people ever, but you have to understand that there's a lot of problems with a kid being friends with a grown adult. A kid, I would say 12 to 16, 17 or so. What you can do is encourage kids to make friends with their own age group. It's okay to let them follow your social media and all that stuff and talk to them, interact with them at conventions. Like, that's totally fine. In fact, I definitely encourage that because it gives them a positive reaction and experience within the fandom, which is what we want. But remember, if you have a social media that is for adults, like you post adult content, do not let kids follow your social media at all. That is a big no-no. You can get in a lot of trouble for this, and it's just very damaging for a kid. Kids are going to experiment sexually anyways, but it should not be from you. Both minors and adults play a role in protecting themselves. It's not at all a one-sided problem. It is a problem for with both minors and adults, but I definitely think that adults play a bigger role in the protection of young kids and young furries. Kids will always look up to you. That's inevitable, but it's up to you to set a good example and make sure that they feel safe in the fandom. After all, a bunch of people in furry animal costumes is gonna be very attractive to young kids. I don't really have much else to say on this subject other than what I've covered. It's just something that's been on my mind lately, something that's not talked about. It might seem a bit taboo to most people. Just remember that everyone plays a role, and we want the furry fandom to feel safe for everyone, and that's really what it all boils down to, and I'm pretty sure most people can agree with me on that. I hope you can forgive me if this video is a bit bumpy. I am pretty new to making vlogs. I've been on YouTube for a really long time, but I've never done, you know, again, vlogs. And also talking into the camera by yourself is a little embarrassing, even though no one else is here. But I'm hoping that if I make more and I do more, and people seem to like it and respond well to it, that I can feel more confident and I can start doing it a lot more. Please feel free to comment if something was unclear or you want me to expand upon it a little more. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I really encourage discussions. Just try to be nice about it, that's all. People tend to respond better when you're nice about it, and I am, and other people will be more willing to talk to you about it. Maybe you don't agree with something, but again, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks so much again for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day, and all your hopes and dreams come true. Bye!